Hello, everybody. You can see that I'm wearing my ninja skin today. There's a secret reason why. Because I'm freezing. All right, let's see here. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to play a game with the AI. Now, I am by no means doing anything like super crazy different or new or anything. A few of you who've played with the AI have probably figured out how to do what I'm going to be doing here, but it's cool. It's fun. Also, oh, happened here? Okay, I think I was hearing my own voice just now. In any case, it's a cool thing. What's really cool about it, honestly, is just it's fun and funny. I've done a whole bunch of things with it now. Hey guys. I don't know if I'm only just now coming in. Hello, everybody. I'm wearing my ninja skin today because I'm freezing. In case you did not see, I am too stealthy for the cold. But like I was saying, today I'm going to be showing. Okay, now I'm coming in. Good, good, good. Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it didn't let me know that I wasn't coming in. Yes, happy October, everybody. And today I'm going to be playing a game with the AI and showing you guys how I play with it. Like I said before, this is like nothing revolutionary. This is nothing like a few of you who play with the AI have probably already figured out how to do what I'm going to be showing you to do. But it's fun. And it also demonstrates both like the capability of the AI and the things that make it fun, and its hardcore limitations. And well, I'll be honest, I'm still terrified by it as a writer because I'm watching it get better and better. It's like this machine spirit we've made that is drinking the soul of mankind out from the freaking internet. But it's also, I mean, until it gets regulated, it's a cool, cool toy that you can use. And I'm going to show you how I use it to have fun. So let's go ahead and see here. And hey, everybody, I'm seeing, yes, the rise of the machines, guardsmen. Oh, yes, my puppers, they are in the background here. Come here. Come here. Oh, yes. So this is Dio. And his name is Dio because he has I don't know if you can see it because it's like kind of overexposed here, but he has a little heart on his head. Let's see if I can. There we go. There, you can see it now. Excellent. And he's a good boy. And we have Atreus, who loves to be held and to play. He is my shoulder pup because he hangs around on my shoulder. He's a good boy. So, let me see here. Yes, praise be to the Omnissiah. And yes, he's the god of war. Atreus is definitely who he's named after. All right, so let's go ahead and start diving in here. And I'm actually going to need a bit of help from you guys just because of the way this works. So let's begin. Here we have nice, clean ChatGPT. I'm using ChatGPT 4. I am fascinated by AI, so I will try AI services. But with that said, I don't have like tons of money to do that with. And insofar as I've been able to tell, when it comes to writing, ChatGPT 4 has done a fantastic job, but I am also skin deep in that kind of thing, like very wide, shallow experience. So far, this has worked for me. I've heard a few people say that they have other, like for example, one that keeps getting brought up to me, an AI service, is Novel AI. Now, I looked at it, but Novel AI doesn't seem like a thing that you'd be playing a game with. It feels more like it's like just legitimately a writing aid, or just a thing that will write for you, at least some of the time. I don't know how good it is, but my goodness, it is an involved system with like all these things. I think that it's supposed to be a thing where you can basically put in all these world details, all these characters and character details, and have all these reference points. And eventually the AI will just be able to take these things and put together something. I have no idea how good that will turn out, but it's not exactly the gist of what I was getting for this. So we have our AI up here. You can see some of the things that I was messing with in the sidebar, which are all very fun and funny. I am delighted by playing with it because it's just such a silly ass tool for me. I really do enjoy it. Let me see here. It seems as though some of your comments are not coming through, or they're coming through very, very slowly. Dark mode. You want me to switch to dark mode? All right, let me take a look here. How do I do this? I don't know if it has a dark mode, honestly. Well, whatever. In any case, let me see here. Yeah, I am clearly not getting all of your comments. Oh, here we go. Here we go. They're coming through now. All right. Let's see here. Scott Aries, you say, I highly recommend the Jonathan Mann's channel if you want to get some music for your videos. Jonathan Mann or Jonathan Mann's. That sounds familiar. I think I might have already hit a little bit of that. But yes, I will definitely look that up as I am beginning to construct. Honestly, I'm not. Well, I am still writing the episode because this is my promise to myself. Because Axum has gone on much longer than I had actually imagined that, it would be. I will return once I have written to the end of Axum. Once we have reached this specific point where it's basically over and done on that planet, that is when you will see the episode come back. And I plan to just release it either in like segments all at once or as one massive, potentially, I don't want to look, I'm bad at number estimations. All right. I got a learning disability. It's not good with numbers. Okay. So I don't want to give you estimations because I'm pretty fucking terrible at them. But that said, it's going to be a really long, it's already really long. And like, if you're hearing the rough reads, I released a rough read. By the way, if you're a patron, I released a rough read on the channel and you should catch it as soon as you can. But that aside, the rough reads are like literally first drafts, basically, which is why you'll actually hear me stop and, fix things every once in a while. You're not the only one who has learning disabilities. I know I'm not the only one. We are Legion. So, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. That was a funny comment. Oh, my brains. I seriously have lost my train of thought. Damn it, hot tomato. Yes. Let's see here. Obi-Wan. That's hilarious. By the way, just out of curiosity, how long in universe? Oh, that you helped me remember what I was talking about. This is going to be a really long episode. I don't know how long. I dare say it might be like fucking 6 hours. It's going to be heinous. I don't anticipate if I can release it all at once, like in one video, and YouTube doesn't blow up. I do not suspect that I will be able, that anyone will be able to just sit and watch it all the way through one time. It's going to be like an entire season. Like every episode you guys should have been getting all the way up till now, you're going to basically get it in one massive like Star Wars versus Warhammer 40K audio movie, which is going to take us all the way from the start of the negotiations to the end of Axum and cover a few other things. That's what I was going to say is that if you're a Patreon, you've already caught the rough read, or at least you have access to the rough read, the latest one released just before this video. And in that rough read, normally I actually take rough reads out to at least 30 minutes. This one's like a little bit shorter. And the reason this one's a little bit shorter is because specifically the segment that comes after it. See, I don't like to stop in the middle of segments. I have to go to the end of, a scene end and then stop there. the next segment is the actual negotiation between the Imperials and the Republic. And it's I don't know. I mean, I have to edit it, but it's it's pretty long. It's pretty long. I'm just gonna see if I have to break it up a little bit or if I need to shave it down. But yeah, it's like not anymore like this drama that is happening prior with Farnes and the Tech Priest and everyone establishing, okay, you're here because you represent who again? Like now it's like the legit negotiation, and it's a big back and forth that goes back and forth, back and forth. It's kind of funny because the person who kind of gets things mostly in this thing are like, Ahsoka, who's already started to catch on to the way that the Imperials are, but there is still a lot of ping pong. Let's see here. Are there any updates related to Demolan 85? So unfortunately, Demolan 85 is canceled, and the reason it's canceled is because the guy I was working with, he basically had a massive crisis in his life. He burned out, and I just haven't seen him since. I hope he's okay, and I've sent him well wishes, and there's no pressure. But yeah, he just suddenly one day kind of just snapped. I get the impression that there was a lot going on in his home life, and I had no idea. But unfortunately, until I can get an artist to help replace the guy I was working with, then Demolan 85, even though I have like the entire script for that written out, it's the analog horror series for Warhammer 40K. It's on ice until I get an artist there. Yeah. I do severely hope that he's okay, because it was very shocking. He sent a very alarming message, not like a suicidal message or anything like that. I don't want to imply that, but he did send a very alarming message that was like he was not doing well, and he just vanished. So until I get him back, I have no idea what to do about that. All right, let me see here. So let me see. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the next segment's really long, yada, yada. Let's get into this. So, guys, in the comments here, give me a premise. Give me a thing, okay? I mean, you can see some of the things I have here in the sidebar, all of which have been pretty hilariously entertaining in their own way. I have to work harder for some and less hard for others, but it's a fun game one way or the other. So like just like, who would you throw into Warhammer 40K? Let's begin with this premise, guys. Throw in some comments here and let me know who from what other fiction do you want me to throw into Warhammer 40K during the time of the Great Crusade and like leading up to the Horus Heresy. Through the Horus Heresy, we'll play around with that time period. Give me somebody. It can be anyone you like. The more interesting, the better. Trust me, it was fucking hilarious for me to read a scene where Bugs Bunny is a custodian guard who's just sitting there sarcastically next to the Emperor, like literally just snapping out sarcastic comments at everybody, but is too beloved by the Emperor for anyone to reproach him. And it was it was so funny. That shit is just so funny. So let's see here. Oh, I'm getting comments. All right, let's see here. We got Doom Guy. Doom Guy, maybe. I don't know tons about Doom Guy. I know that, like, I have Doom Eternal, but I never played the DLCs. I just never got around to it. My schedule absolutely combusted, filled up. Omni-Man, interesting. Viltrumites, interesting. I don't know, man. Korn owns the Viltrumites. Darth Maul. What time period Darth Maul were you thinking? Like what do you... Lionel Johnson, what, just take Lionel Johnson and move him to the Siege of Terra? That's not fair for the traitors, bro. The Justice League in Warhammer. I'm not going to lie. I have been doing that, and it's fun. It's very... Yo, listen, okay? I got some... Okay, hold on. I have it saved somewhere over here. I'm going to read you guys, I think, like, just to get you guys nice and warmed up. I'm going to read you what the AI did for Superman, okay? So give me a moment. I'm going to find it. I have it saved somewhere in my computer because it was a lot of fun, that one. Let me see here. Oh, damn. I hope I did save it because it was like one of the better ones. Oh, okay. Here it is. Yes. Okay. Here it is. Cal Primaris. Guys, the AI is so scary for shit like this. I'm going to read this to you, and then we're going to go through together how to make it do things like this. But just to give you an idea of what it does, all right? So basic prompt is, in DC Comics, there are many alternate and parallel universes in which the incarnations of the heroes and villains change to match the theme of the new universe. If Superman had an incarnation within the Warhammer 40K universe, what would it be? And then I put extra stuff on there. Describe him. If he has a new costume, describe his new costume. Generate his new name for the universe. Please detail his backstory. Try to emulate the plot beats of his original backstory, while maintaining the universe in which it's occurring. And, little stipulations like that. And we'll go through those in detail when we're making our own here. But here is what it gave back. Okay, so here we go. First, the name is the worst part of this. Okay, guys, I want you to know the name is the worst part of this. We got Cal Primaris, the Imperial Paragon. In this universe, Cal Primaris was born not on Krypton, but on the far-flung planet of Sanctus Solaris, a lost human colony forgotten during the dark age of technology. Sanctus Solaris was a utopia built on the precepts of logic, peace, and enlightenment, shielded from the horrors of the wider galaxy by powerful ancient technologies. When the planet was beset by daemonry and the forces of chaos, the ruling leaders sent their only hope, an infant. I think it should have been Necrons. I think the AI missed out here, because if Necrons had destroyed his world, then we could make one of the, the Necron overlord that did it, like the Pharaon, could be Brainiac. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So, and then, of course, we could also derive Metallo from that. Come on, that missed out. All right. But it's still pretty good. Okay, so here we go. When the planet was attacked and beset by daemonry and the forces of chaos, the ruling leaders sent their only hope, an infant with the genetic potential of their greatest warriors, through the warp. Hold on one second. Since we're not using that screen right now, I'll just go ahead and... there we go. All right. So back to that file. Here we go. The baby crash landed on Holy Terra, the cradle of humanity, in the heart of the Imperial Palace itself. Discovered by the Adeptus Custodes, the Emperor's own personal guards, the infant was shown to display incredible strength, resilience, and psychic potential. The Emperor saw in him the traits of a Primarch, one of his genetically enhanced sons. The child was thus adopted and raised as a beacon of hope during the waning days of the Great Crusade. Blessed with near indestructible physique, heat vision, and the ability to fly, Cal Primaris was not merely another transhuman super soldier, but a superhuman on par with even the Primarchs. He became the Imperial Paragon. So that's like a little example of like the thing it gave there. And that's not so impressive by itself. It's nice. But what's really cool about it is what comes after. Let me just check comments real quick. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we got some very interesting comments. Let's see here. All right. So let's keep going. I want to show you guys what blew me out of the water. Okay. What actually blew me out of the water. So let me see. It gives you a lot of information here. It gives me a lot of stuff that's not necessarily really interesting. It tells me why he's called Primaris, which is just because it literally just tells me that it's referencing the advanced breed of Space Marines. But it's kind of funny because the Primaris don't exist yet, so it doesn't get that, but whatever. It'll make little errors here and there, especially in all these little details that it throws out there. One thing you should know is that the Emperor, it's in this big block of text here, but one thing that you should know is that the Emperor gave Cal Primaris his own Space Marines. They're called the Luminara, and they are made from a special gene seed that was made from his own DNA. So the Luminara have like limited flight, weak heat. They're like Superboys, like it's like Superboy from Young Justice, the Luminara are like Superboys, which is terrifying because Superboy is really powerful. Let me see here. Going through all this stuff. Okay, here we go. I said, give us a timeline of Cal Primaris' deeds, battles, victories, and losses. Detail his role during the Great Crusade. Explain his relationship with each of the Primarchs. It didn't do that very well, but it did it really well in 3 instances, which I will share with all of you. Explain his relationship with each of the Primarchs prior to the Horus Heresy. Depict his role in the Horus Heresy. What side would he take? And what difference did he make in the victory? Okay, so here we go. All right, so here we go. So first, just gonna do the recap here. Arrival on Terra. I basically already read that. It's just a recap of what I already read. Training under the Emperor. Cal Primaris was personally tutored by the Emperor, honing his incredible strength, psychic powers, and leadership abilities. Unlike the Primarchs, who were scattered across the galaxy, Cal grew up on Terra and was shaped by the Emperor's direct vision for humanity. He would become an invaluable asset in the Great Crusade. And it gives us this really big, list of things and some summaries here, and some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't. But just to read a few of the small summaries here, like for example, meetings with the Primarchs. Here are just some summaries of some of the ones that weren't necessarily so interesting when they were unfolded or didn't make good sense. Trust me, when you're playing with the AI, you're going to refresh this pitch a lot, and some things just won't work. But we have his meeting with Horus. Cal respected Horus for his technical brilliance, but a rivalry emerged between them. Horus saw Cal as a competitor for the Emperor's favor, while Cal distrusted Horus's ambition. We have, let's see here, Magnus the Red. As both were powerful psychers, I love how it just made him a psyker. Like, Superman is stronger in the Warhammer 40k universe than he is normally, which is really fucking funny to me, because he's already too powerful. As both were powerful psychers, Magnus and Cal had a unique bond. They would often engage in deep discussions about the warp and the nature of the universe, but their philosophies diverged over time. I think we all know what side Cal Primaris is going to take. Okay, I think we all can see where this is going. So let me go ahead and read to you the 3 impressive things. This has all been leading up to this. This is this is the cheese and potatoes, meat and potatoes right here. Nice stinky fart fuel right here, because this is gonna this makes me crap myself. This makes me terrified as a writer. So let's see here. I basically asked it, okay, expound upon the, I said, using a writing style and a panache similar to that of George R.R. Martin, create a scene in which Cal Primaris, meets Sanguinius for the first time. Where are they? When are they meeting? Why are they meeting? How do they interact? And it goes on. So this is what it gave. This is the scene. It says the scene, the meeting of the suns. That's cool because it spells it, S-U-N-S. So the sky over Garael was bathed in the deep crimson of its dying star, casting a blood-red hue across the planet's surface. The winds of war ravaged the winds of this war-ravaged world stirred the ash-laden plains, sending swirls of dust into the air like restless spirits. Cal Primaris stood at the edge of... You know what? I'm actually going to save this one. I'm going to read to you guys another one first, because I like this one a lot, and I'd like to ramp this up. So this one will go second. This one's really good. This one will go second. Then what I'm going to read to you now is not bad, but I like this one more, so I'm going to read it second. All right. And the last one is just fucking crazy. All right. So you guys will see. Just so you're aware, I did this for all of the Primarchs, but only 3 of them turned out well. So keep that in mind. That's that ratio you might want to understand too, because unless you're willing to really bust your ass and make it more work than play, then, like I said, sometimes it'll just miss and refuse to hit. And with the Primarchs, only 3 hits, but they were... You'll see. All right. Here we go. The fields of Tagora Prime were a smoldering ruin, broken under the weight of the endless sea of Xenos that crashed against the walls of the city like the waves of some terrible living ocean. The AI is way too good, guys. I don't like that. That freaks me out. The Ultramarines had fought for days without sleep, their ranks thinning, their armor stained with the blood of thousands of orcs. Robute Guilliman, the Primarch of the 13th Legion, stood at the fore, his blade severing heads and limbs with each stroke. But even he could feel the weight of the battle pressing down on him. The orcs were relentless. For every one he killed, 10 more surged forward, bellowing their barbaric war cries, eager to tear into his legion. "We cannot hold them," Robute muttered to himself, his voice hard as iron. The Ultramarines were unmatched in their discipline and tactics, but this battle was madness. The orcs came in endless hordes, and Tagora Prime was simply not worth the cost of his legion. His mind churned with calculations, logistical pathways to retreat, timing estimates to pull back without breaking the line entirely. But he realized it was an impossible feat, and that thought gnawed at him. But he would not sacrifice his sons for a battle that was clearly already lost. Another orc lunged at him, enormous, its crude axe raised high. Robute sidestepped faster than the orc could react, faster than it could even think, and drove his fist into its chest, breaking its ribcage like brittle wood. His gauntlet came out slick with gore, but there was no time to relish the kill, for there were always more. He opened a Vox channel to his captains. "Begin fallback maneuvers. And then the skies darkened. At first, Robute thought it was a trick of his weary eyes, but no, it was real. The sky, already bruised with smoke and fire. Oh, God, it's making good. I don't like it. It's too good. I don't like that. I'm a writer, dude. This is going to take my job one day. Or make my job way too easy, or completely lobotomize our entire species. Maybe all of those things. I have no idea. But like, when I'm impressed with the AI's writing, it fucking sends shivers down my spine. The sky, already bruised with smoke and fire, darkened further, and a shrill... It's because I told it to write like Jar Jar Martin, bro. I don't like that it can do that. It doesn't get as good as him, but it doesn't need to get as good. It gets like fucking 60% of the way and still hits pretty damn good. With smoke and fire, darkened further, and a shrill, terrible sound filled the air. It was not the bellow of orcs or the rumble of artillery. It was something else entirely. And whatever it was something powerful. The Luminara had arrived. They came from the clouds, descending like thunderbolts, a legion of warriors in gleaming gold and crimson armor. And at their head, a figure who shone like the Emperor himself, his red cape billowing behind him as he plummeted from the heavens. For Cal Primaris needed no drop pod. Oh, God. Oh, that's really good. His name was whispered across the Imperium like a promise, though many in the Ultramarines had never laid eyes directly upon him. Robute watched in shock as the golden figure crashed into the thickest part of the orc horde, the ground trembling under his impact. Orcs flew into the air, crushed beneath his tremendous strength. Heat vision lanced from his eyes, cutting down swathes of Xenos like a scythe through dry wheat. His movements were impossibly fast, his blows so devastating that even the towering orc knobs were felled like children before him. His legion, the Luminara, descended around him, each warrior shining with psychic energy and unrelenting might, floating down as if through water. They cut through the orcs with precision and power that Robute had rarely seen. In minutes, the tide had been turned. The orcs were no longer surging forward. They simply couldn't. They were too busy dying in droves, and the battlefield, which had moments ago seemed hopeless, was now awash with new possibilities. Robute stood tall, still, his gauntlet stained with the ichor of orc blood. His sword was still warm in his hand, but for the first time in hours, days, he felt no need to swing it. The pressure on his forces had been lifted, and the Primarch of the Ultramarines allowed himself a moment to absorb it all. Cal Primaris stepped towards him. Even among giants, Cal stood out. He was taller than any Astartes at 10 feet, his armor shining with I like how they made him bigger too. Like he's not just, like the Emperor totally fucking gene experimented with him as a baby, okay? 100%. His armor shining with an almost supernatural glow, his eyes burning with the crimson radiance of the psychic power he had unleashed, softened as they met Robute's gaze. I like that Homelander moment. Fucking. For a moment, neither spoke. Robute took the first step forward, his armored boots sinking slightly into the blood-soaked earth. Cal Primaris. His voice was deep, resonant. But there was a note of intrigue in it, something the Ultramarine Primarch rarely felt. So the tales of your power were not exaggerated. Cal Primaris inclined his head, a smile touching his lips. Nor yours, Lord Guilliman. The Emperor spoke highly of your strategic genius. It is an honor to fight alongside the warrior kings of Macragge. The words were measured, respectful, and yet Robute also sensed that there was no true flattery in them, only truth. Cal Primaris was evidently not one to speak idle praise, and that set him apart from the others Robute had met. They stood for a moment, surveying the battlefield. The Luminara and the Ultramarines were driving back the Orcs, their speed and precision unmatched, especially when combined. Robute could see how his warriors surged forward, how they saw every opening, how they fought not with cold discipline like his Ultramarines, but with a kind of righteous fury. There was something noble in the way they moved, as if they believed utterly in the cause they fought for, as if hope itself had replaced the blood in their veins. You've bought us time, Robute said, though there was more in the statement than gratitude. He was studying Cal now, gauging him. His mind was already working, calculating the possibilities. But what brings you here? Tagora Prime is not worth the efforts of the Imperial Paragon. Cal's eyes flashed briefly with something Robute could not quite place. Regret, perhaps? Duty? I came for the people of the world, not the world itself. His voice was firm. These orcs would have butchered them, Robute. Tagora Prime may not be a strategic jewel. It may not be a resource-laden point of interest, but it's worth saving because its people are worth saving. Isn't that what the Emperor wants us to remember? That even in war, ultimately, we don't just fight for conquest. We fight for humanity. The word Jesus fucking, come on. Oh my God. That's really good. The AI is doing a really good job. The words struck Robute like a hammer blow. He prided himself on his sense of duty, his understanding of the Emperor's vision, but Cal spoke with a clarity and idealism that seemed almost naive. And yet there was truth in it. In the midst of their grand campaigns and conquests, it was easy to forget the simple fact that they fought for humanity. They fought for the people. You are an idealist, Robute said at last, his tone more thoughtful than accusatory. In this galaxy, that is a dangerous thing. Cal's smile returned, though there was a unbidden sadness to it. Dangerous, yes, but necessary. Without hope, what are we fighting for? What are we fighting with? Robute considered the words. Hope. It was something he had never allowed himself to lean on, too fragile a thing in the harsh reality of the galaxy. Robute was a builder, a strategist, but above all, a pragmatist. And yet, here, stood Cal Primaris, a living testament to hope itself, cutting through orcs with a fury that only conviction could fuel. Perhaps, Robute thought, there was something to this man, after all. He extended his hand, bloodied and worn. We'll speak more when the battle is won. For now, we stand together. Cal took his hand, his grip firm but not overbearing. Together, then. And with that, they turned back to the battle. So that's like the first one, you know what I'm saying? Let me see here. Just hop over so I can see your comments. Yeah, hope is the first step on the road to disappointment. That is a... Bro, why you gotta crush Cal Primaris like that? Why you gotta crush... Bro, he's trying to bring hope to the grim, dark galaxy, dude. Oh, man. Let's see here. Speaking of Astartes Heights, are there any who are just really short, so much so that they could pass for normal humans? Yeah, there are. I know of at least one Astartes that was like 5 foot something, which is considered very short. Even 5'11" is considered very short for an Astartes, but he was like 5 foot. He was notably short, like 5'10" or below. I can't remember, but I remember that he was an Imperial Fist and that it was unnatural, not normal. He had to have his armor customized. I also remember that he was strong as fuck. Like he was just crazy muscle density. That is amazing. Compare it with the AI from a year ago. Yeah, no, I know. This is why I'm like, in 10 years, man, we're not going to have streaming services. We're going to have like generative AI services that you like, hey, I would like to watch a show about this, or this, or continue season this of this or whatever. And it will just start fucking generating it because, dude, we are all individual humans, and eventually this thing is going to eat enough of us through the internet, just like metaphorically, informationally speaking, that it'll just become a superhuman. It's kind of funny because it'll become like the most human thing because it'll base everything and all of its behaviors off of like all of the humanity it has absorbed from the internet. But fuck, you know what I'm saying? It's also, I feel like I'm living in a weird sci-fi world all the fucking time, especially when I play with this thing. And I haven't even shown you the... We'll get to those in a second. I'm just taking a break for the comments here. Hey, AI continues. Star Wars is 40K JK. No. Oh, okay. First of all, like morally not acceptable. It's my story. It's not the AI story. I have a story I want to tell. It would be weird for me to... I don't think it'd be possible for me to make the AI tell a predetermined story I already have and to direct it there. But well, yeah. So I don't think this would... Also, the thing is this. These are cool little samples, but they're basically individual scenes. The AI's memory is not super good. And especially with things like Star Wars versus Warhammer 40K, I have a lot of characters and they do a lot of things. And I need to be the brain keeping track of that. The AI cannot even try. So yeah, I mean, I spend like a good portion of the time that I spend writing, not really writing, but just like reading my old stuff over again to keep track of things and making notes that I should have made earlier so that they're fucking easy to reference. I'm a goober, all right? Give me a goober pass. Let's see here. Fun fact. First, in the first episode, Sontarans... Sontarans wasn't so short like in the new Doctor Who. That's hilarious. What if Gundam Wing was in Star Wars? Ooh. Interesting. Giant lightsaber. Me likey. I'll consider that one. Let's see here. Oh, this is just amazing. Yeah, no, I know. It's amazing and terrifying. It is truly... honestly, don't think the AI will do that. AI aren't really bad like that, like intent. AI writing can at least hide it more, but still, just my opinion. No, I agree. And listen, I have to kind of like guide it a bit and stuff. I'm skipping over a lot that we're going to go over when we do it ourselves, but it needs guidance. It doesn't really make up ideas by itself most of the time. I'm just kind of shocked at how capable it is as a facilitator because god damn, is it facilitating. All right. So let me see here. Without further ado, let me continue. There's 2 more scenes I want to read to you before we move on from Cal Primaris because they're just really good. Very nice. There's also a scene where Cal Primaris fights... Who is it? It's Lorgar. He fights Lorgar, and that's the reason why he's not able to help the Emperor during the Emperor's battle against Horus or save Sanguinius' life, which, by the way, reading the description of Cal Primaris, understanding what happened to Sanguinius and realizing the Emperor is gone, that he's like the only good guy, basically, like really left. Oh, man. I mean, him and Vulcan don't actually meet, like, almost at all. Like, they have very short, it's weird, but for some reason, the timeline for them, they barely touch, so they barely know each other. Yeah, Cal Primaris almost fucking dies of grief at the news that Sanguinius was killed. Like, it's almost implied, though the AI never wrote this, but it's almost implied that like they would have spoken about Sanguinius' visions, and Cal would have been like, "Bro, I'm gonna protect you, dude. I'm gonna not let you die the way you think you're going to," and it happened anyway. Oof, heartbreaking stuff, bro. All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna hop back over to this thing. Where is it? There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to read to you guys Cal's meeting with Sanguinius. The skies over Garael were bathed in the deep crimson of its dying star, casting a blood-red hue across the planet's surface. The winds of this war-ravaged world stirred the ash-laden plains, sending swirls of dust into the air like restless spirits. Cal Primaris stood at the edge of a rocky outcrop, his keen eyes scanning the horizon where the fires of battle had finally begun to fade. His legion, the Luminara, had fought hard to secure the city of Anastas, a human bastion beset by the green tide of the orcs. Yet today was not a day of victory parades or laurels of triumph. Today was one of anticipation. He had heard the whispers, the rumors, stories passed between officers, men, and Astartes alike, that another figure of legend had been discovered. The Emperor's son, the one they called Sanguinius, the Angel of Baal. A demigod of war, they said, with the beauty of a sunlit dawn and wings that gleamed with the light of salvation itself. Cal had listened with quiet interest, unsure what to really expect. He, too, had been subject to similar tales, and yet he was an orphan of Terra, blessed with powers that defied reason, an outsider eternally, who had never quite fit in with the ranks of the Emperor's existing Primarchs. And now he would meet another one. He did not have to wait long. In the distance, far above the smog-choked sky, something cut through the clouds like a golden spear thrown by a celestial hand. Sanguinius descended from the heavens, carried by mighty wings, vast and pure, flaring against the twilight sun. His golden armor, the golden armor he wore gleamed despite the grime of war which attempted to cling to his body, and the sigil of the Blood Angels burned brightly upon his chestplate. His hair, the color of radiant sunlight, streamed behind him as he landed softly upon the ashen ground like a leaf touching the surface of a still pond. For a moment, neither spoke. Cal Primaris had never felt small before. Standing 10 feet tall, clad in polished artificer armor, he had always been among the largest and certainly strongest of nearly any gathering he had attended. His red cape fluttered in the wind, marking him out as the Imperial Paragon, a warrior made not by the hand of science alone, but by something deeper, something cosmic. And yet, here before him stood a being of such grace, such unearthly beauty, that Cal felt a flicker of something that he had not felt since first meeting his father. Awe. Sanguinius, too, regarded Cal Primaris with curiosity. His red eyes, sharp and piercing, seemed to study every line of Cal's face, every groove in his armor, as if weighing the truth of the legend that had reached his ears. "A paragon, they call you," Sanguinius said at last, his voice a rich musical cadence that seemed to ease the very air around them. "They say you are the Emperor's favored weapon, forged in secret and blessed with his light." Cal met his gaze evenly. I serve the Emperor, nothing more. The title was given, not earned. A smile, faint but genuine, tugged at Sanguinius's lips. He tilted his head. Humility? Now that is rare among us. And wings, Cal noted, with the faintest touch of humor. That too is rare. Sanguinius laughed, a sound that was like the chiming of bells, bright and full of life. It was the first time Cal had heard laughter like that on the battlefield. The angel spread his wings, the vast white feathers catching the light of the dying sun as they stretched their full, magnificent span. A gift, though some might say a burden. You of all people should understand the weight of gifts given and not earned. Cal nodded, acknowledging the truth of those words. He had often felt the same, a being shaped by powers he did not fully comprehend, tasked with carrying the hopes of mankind, and an imperium that often asked for far too much, demanded too much, and yet all too often gave too little. Sanguinius stepped closer, his eyes narrowing slightly. The Emperor speaks of you often, you know. He speaks of your deeds, of your strengths, but also he speaks of your heart. It is said you save more than you kill, that you seek to protect rather than to conquer. Cal shrugged his massive shoulders, barely shifting the weight of his armor. The galaxy is vast, and our Emperor's light is spread very thinly. Spread very thinly. Every world we save is a world that strengthens the Imperium. That is all. The winged Primarch smiled again, but this time there was something softer in his expression. Oh, give me one moment, guys. All right, sorry about that. Hopefully that won't happen again. Let's see here. Cal Primaris, where were we? Something softer. Here we go. The winged Primarch smiled again, but this time there was something softer in his expression. You would make a good son. Cal Primaris flinched inwardly at those words, though his face remained stoic. Son. It was a title he could never claim, despite his closeness to the Emperor. The Primarchs were the Emperor's true sons, scattered across the stars in order to lead his great armies. Cal was something else. A weapon forged in secret, a protector crafted not by the Emperor's gene laboratories, but by fate itself. You are the son, Cal replied, his voice measured. I am something else, something different. Sanguinius tilted his head, his red eyes still soft. And yet, we fight for the same father. The silence between them stretched for a moment, laden with the weight of unspoken words. In that instant, Cal realized why Sanguinius was so revered, and not just for his prowess in battle, but for his spirit. He carried a warmth, a kindness that was rare in this brutal galaxy. He reminded Cal of the Emperor's true dream, of an imperium not yet twisted by endless war, where hope still had its proper place. And we will fight together, Cal finally said, his voice resolute, for as long as there is light in the galaxy. Sanguinius smiled, an understanding passing between them. Yes, together. The wind stirred again, carrying the smell of charred earth and smoldering wreckage from the distant battlefields. For a moment, the two giants stood side by side, their capes fluttering in the same wind, their minds aligned in purpose. Cal Primaris turned his gaze to the burning horizon, his thoughts already on the next battle. The orcs will return, and soon. We must be ready. Sanguinius folded his wings behind him, the feathers rustling softly. Then we shall meet them in the skies. Let the beasts see the full glory of the Emperor's 2 sons. The Angel of Baal extended his hand, a gesture of camaraderie, of shared duty, and of brotherhood. Cal looked at the offered hand for a moment and then clasped it firmly. As they stood there, the last rays of the dying sun bathing them both in light, it was as though the star was offering them its blessings. 2 sons of the Emperor, one forged by fate and the other by blood, united in purpose for the war that was to come. And in that moment, Cal Primaris knew he had found something far more valuable than a title or a victory. He had found a brother. Oof. Come on. Come on. That was really good. Fuck. Ugh. I'm gonna fucking cry. God damn. Oh my God. Let's see here. Hopping back. Turns out the Emperor is Jack Harkness. Do not joke about that. He might be. And Jack has gone through a lot. So, let's see here. Is this episode 47 sneak peek? No, that's the crazy part. Fucking, oh my God. Let me see here. Fan, I want you to know you inspired me to write a story about Fallout and Halo starting from 76 and Halo Wars. I just want to let you know. Thank you, man. And I am glad to have inspired you. Honestly, that is like one of the best compliments I can receive. It is a great honor for me to inspire others to write and to put out your ideas and do whatever you can creatively with them. But yes, so as you can see, quite dangerously good. Very, very well put together for just this AI. Now, again, it's just making this one scene, but God, it really, it captured how I feel 40K Superman would be with Sanguinius. And it makes the idea that he's not able to save him just fucking crushing. So, we have that. What do you guys think of that? There's one more scene, and I want you guys to guess in the comments which Primarch all right, so far, the 2 Primarchs that came out good when I asked the AI to render out the scenes, out of all of those Primarchs, the only ones that came out good were Robute Guilliman, Sanguinius, and this one. And when I say good, I don't mean like they had a good time with each other, they got along. I mean that it wrote something good and not just, bad, because most of it's not so good. So let me ask you, guess which one out of everybody of the Primarchs, which one did it illustrate well? Like the last one, the third one, the good one. Which one? We got some Dorns in the comments. We got a Horus. I see a Horus. Let's see here. I'll reveal to you the truth in a second. Actually, I'll start reading it and you'll see. What about me? What about you, Anthony? Let's see here. Hello. You read like a god. Oh, thank you, Anthony. Thank you for the compliment. Magnus the Red. We got a Magnus. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to start reading it. Lorgar. Oh, maybe. Who knows? Meeting Lorgar. Alfarius, since his story doesn't have to make much sense anyway. That would be pretty funny. I know. No, the AI did a terrible job with the Alfarius Cal meetup. Terrible job. It devolved into literal retarded diarrhea. There's too many memes. There's too many. The Alfarius memes have murdered the AI's ability to write stories about him. At least when it came to this. So let me see here. I'm going to start reading it, and you guys try to guess. And I come back here and see who guessed right when I finally read the name. Here we go. All right, let me see. Cal Primaris. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay, here we go. Night had settled like a shroud over the smoldering remains of Distra Prime, A planet that had once defied the Emperor's will. Now, its towers were broken, its streets flooded with blood, fear, and ruin. Fires guttered in the distance, licking the sky with embers, and a cold wind swept through the narrow alleyways, carrying the stench of death and destruction. This city was dying. And Conrad Curze, the Night Haunter, was its executioner. Okay, who guessed that? Who guessed Conrad Curze? Who guessed Evil Batman? Which is fucking hilarious now that I say it out loud. Who the fuck guessed it? Conrad Curze. Conrad Curze. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, get ready for this, guys. Also, the AI goes really hard on this in certain ways. Like, you'll see, I was like worried about what I was reading for a second. I was like, I don't know, fucking kind of fucky. But all right, here we go. Let's see here. He moved through the shadows, silent and unseen, a wraith among the wreckage. His black armor absorbed the flickering light. His pale face a ghastly ghost in the gloom. His long talon-like fingers twitched with anticipation, for he had found his prey. The boy was young, no older than 14 summers, dirty and thin, a rat among rats in this broken city. He had watched him for hours, the way he slunk through crowds, fingers deftly lifting a coin purse from a fallen soldier's corpse. A thief. Curze's lips curled into... Jesus Christ, Conrad, please, just chill out. Curze's lips curled into a smile, cruel and thin. Justice. His kind of justice. The kind that seared into the bone and etched fear into the very soul. He would take the boy. Conrad, chill the fuck out. He would... Oh, God. Let me see here. He would take the boy, skin him alive in the center of the square, and hang the body high for all to see. A lesson for those who would dare disobey, and a symbol. The boy moved again, darting into a side alley, oblivious to the predator who stalked him. Curze followed, his footsteps as quiet as the grave. His breath was steady, his heartbeat slow by force, controlled, as he imagined the terror in the boy's eyes, the screams that would soon echo through the night. The city, this city, was not yet afraid enough, not yet broken. It needed this symbol, a reminder of what happened to those who lived in defiance of the law. He was close now, so close that he could almost feel the boy's fear, smell the sour sweat on his skin. Curze raised his hand, extending his talons out, reaching, claws gleaming. One swift movement, and that will be enough, Conrad. The voice was calm, a rich baritone that cut through the silence like a blade through silk. It was not a command, and not a threat, but a statement, a fact, immutable as the stars above. Curze froze, his talons still poised midair, the boy only inches away, ignorant, unknowing of how near to death he was. The Night Haunter turned his face slowly, shadows flickering across his expression. His eyes, dark as space, locked onto the figure standing at the mouth of the alley. Even in the filthy half-light, Curze recognized him instantly. Cal Primaris, the Imperial Paragon, the golden son of Terra himself. He stood tall, his red cape hanging from his shoulders like a banner of hope against the night, his armor gleaming with the light of distant stars, stars that had no place here. Even amidst the filth and destruction, Primaris shone, an unwelcome, blinding light in a world Curze had been so carefully crafting in darkness. Cal stepped forward, his gaze steady, unwavering. "The boy is guilty of nothing but hunger, Conrad," he said softly. "This world has already seen enough death. It needs no more examples, no more symbols." The boy, sensing something, scurried away into the dark, his small feet echoing down the alley, but Curze barely noticed him. His eyes were now locked on Cal Primaris, his lips curling into a snarl. "You interfere," he hissed, his voice low, venomous. "You do not belong here, Paragon. You do not understand the need." Cal shook his head, a faint smile on his lips, though one that held no mirth. "No, I don't think I do." He stepped closer, his presence overwhelming, but his movements lacked aggression. "What I understand, Conrad, is that you have made this planet compliant through fear alone. And I also understand that the fear you bring, and the way that you wield it, it corrodes, it destroys." Curze's laughter was a cold, jagged thing, like broken glass. "Fear is all these people know," he spat. "It is all they deserve. Look around you, Cal Primaris. These are not the streets of Terra. This world was a den of corruption, a hive of sin. They need to learn what it means to bow before the law, what it means to suffer for their crimes." "And yet, they are not your enemies," Cal replied, his tone gentle but firm. "They are citizens of the Imperium now. They are as the Emperor's children, as you and I are. Does that not mean something to you, Conrad?" "Children!" Curze's voice rose, sharp and mocking. "They are insects, weak, selfish, and vile. They exist only to be ruled and broken when necessary. Fear is the only language they understand, and I will make sure they remember every word I speak." Ooh, damn, fuck. That's good. That's really good. For a moment, the two stood in silence, the weight of the galaxy pressing down between them. Cal Primaris could see it. See the raging madness in Curze's eyes. The madness and something else. Something deeper. Something like grief. There was no real joy in what Curze did. No true satisfaction. Only duty, twisted and warped beyond any recognition. Cal sighed, stepping even closer, his broad frame casting a long shadow, though the Night Haunter did not flinch back from it. "You are wrong, Conrad. Fear can only control for so long. Hope lasts. And that is what we fight for. That is what the Emperor wishes for us to fight for." Curze's eyes narrowed, his smile vanishing, replaced by a crooked, contemptuous sneer. "Hope is a lie, Cal. A fleeting dream for the weak. It gives them nothing but an illusion, And inevitably, when that illusion shatters, all that it leaves them with is despair. His talons flexed, as if he was still deciding whether to lunge at Cal or turn away. And yet, it is what sustains them, Cal said, his voice soft. And whether you believe it or not, whether you see it or not, it is what sustains you as well. Curze's face darkened, the shadows seeming to cling to his pale features like a second skin. You are a fool, Cal Primaris. You know not of what you speak, and you know not of what I've seen. You think your light will shine in this galaxy forever? It will burn out. And when it does, I will be there in the darkness, waiting. Cal tilted his head slightly, his gaze filled with something akin to sorrow. Perhaps. But until that day comes, I will continue to fight for them. With everything that I have, I will fight for them. And I will fight for you too, Conrad. At this, Curze recoiled, as though the words had struck him as hard as any blade might. His lip curled in disgust. Yet there was something there now. In his eyes, in his expression, something uncertain, something that trembled at the edges of his fractured mind, which challenged the reasons it was fractured in the first place. He shook it off and spat at the ground between them, turning without another word and melting into shadows. Cal Primaris stood alone in the alley for a moment, watching the place where Curze had vanished. He could still feel the coldness of the Night Haunter's presence lingering in the air, the stench of blood and fear that clung to this world. Yet, in the distance, beyond the fires and wreckage, Cal could hear something. It was faint, but it was there. The sound of voices. The sound of voices. Survivors. People speaking. Rebuilding. Children laughing. Hope. Cal Primaris turned and walked into the night, his cape trailing behind him like a banner in the wind. And somewhere in that darkness, within that night, Conrad Curze watched. Mouth salivating, waiting for the light to fade. That was really good. So that was all three, as you can see. That was all three. And geez, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was really good. I gave it direction, a lot of direction, you know, and I told it that Curze is a fucked up motherfucker, not to hold back. And I, you know, told it that, like, you know, I gave it a lot of direction, but the fact that it can still sit there and turn those phrases is pretty nuts. And listen, I'm a writer. I've spent my entire life, my whole life, from the time that I was young, very young, to now, harnessing, sharpening, and making my skill better and better. But I'm not going to begrudge a tool that would allow a person who has really good ideas, but just not the fucking years of training that I have, to at least get a head up on it and incarnate what they're trying to make. Because, God, that was a really good incarnation of a thing. Like, God, I don't even know what to tell you guys. Just almost blown away by that, honestly. Like, fucking fantastic Conrad Curze. I wonder if the AI is, like, taking the idea that Conrad Curze is evil Batman and making Superman more friendly towards him because of that. You know what I'm saying? I wonder where it's just an interest. If nothing else, fucking fascinating. So many things here check like novelty interest boxes in my head. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you need a real voice to cover the story. But these are not AI scripts. I mean, I wrote the script and the AI facilitated it. It's very different. I didn't ask it to make a story for me. I put bricks for it and I said, okay, with all these things in mind, go. And it was able to do that with direction. But, you can't have an AI director. The AI needs a director. It's very interesting, but there you go. And you can't always tinker with them. Yeah, like I'll say this. If I got into this where I was just like making these and then editing them myself afterwards, it's a little bit tempting because the time you would save, that I would save, is fucking massive. And I'm not going to live forever. And I want to get all these stories out. Unfortunately, I don't think that it is good enough right now. For things like big stories, I can make cool little one-offs like this. This is nice and cool and short, but anything that would need distance, the AI doesn't have it. It's not going to be a thing that works. And you're just better off doing it yourself, or in the end, making a twisty-turvy. You can't make a movie. You can make an episode with something like this, maybe, but you can't make a movie with it. And you have to be creative. You have to put your own creativity into it, because otherwise the AI will just be the most generic thing imaginable. So yeah, there you go. But I do encourage you guys to check that out, to play with that, to mess with that, to fiddle around with that. It's very, very fun. And now that we've gone through Cal Primaris and I've given you this nice, very long tutorial or example of what we can produce with this, that's taken like a fucking hour, let's spend the next 50 minutes actually doing a thing. So let's go ahead and hop over to here. Let me see. Okay, so with all of that said and done, go ahead and if you guys have ideas to pitch, go ahead and pitch them. And I will go ahead and pitch an idea to see if you guys want to try that one, okay? Okay, what about this? I had a story previous. You can actually still see it in the sidebar there. I had a story that's called Eren Yeager Primarch. It's where I basically just made one of the lost Primarchs, Eren Yeager. Like, yeah, his personality, same. Backstory, more or less the same. Except that around the time that he would have gotten his Titan powers, instead of getting Titan powers, he gets, found by the Emperor and revealed to be a Primarch, yada, yada. It was kind of cool. It could have been more interesting. But what if we do the reverse? What if instead of bringing Eren Yeager into Warhammer 40K, we send the Emperor to the Attack on Titan universe and send him into the walls and see what he ends up doing? You know what I'm saying? Also, by the way, guys, off point, I love the idea that Eren is like it's kind of funny because it just lines up, but like Eren Yeager with his indomitable super death will, he is basically a Princep. Like, it's kind of hilarious because he's a Titan, but he could also in 40K, if I wanted, he could be a great Titan pilot because he's angrier than the fucking god machines are. So just a side thing, could be fun. But in any case, the Emperor getting sent to Attack on Titan to the walls to see what he does with it could be a fun thing to do. The question then, of course, would be like, how do we do it? Are we sending him back as like bodily, just like literally the Emperor, or are we taking his mind and putting him there? All these things would be very interesting. It's like I imagine that like sending the Emperor to that kind of setting or to any setting without his like powers and without his super body is basically like it's almost like sending an evil fascist Doctor Who, or maybe not evil, but fucking super ruthless. You know what I'm saying? Emperor, he can be evil and ruthless. So it's kind of funny because imagining that is sort of a super nutso thing. Let's see here. Imperial Night Pilot in Attack on Titan universe. Emperor bull rushes through Wall Maria like it's wet paper. Why is he running through it? We don't need a galaxy-wide rumbling. Oh. I mean, the orcs are trying to do that literally. The orcs are literally trying. By the way, that's canon, 100% canon. The orcs' current end goal is to literally start a galaxy-wide rumbling by getting all of the orcs together into one faction, starting on one side of the galaxy, and then just fucking raging across it in like a scan, like a fucking sweep. So that's a thing. Let's see here. 40K Titans in Attack on Titan. Okay, let me see. Eren as a Primarch. That's terrifying and fascinating. Oh boy. All right. King Adis in 40K. Who's King Adis? Sounds very familiar. Is that a person from mythology? Let me know. What if Harry Dresden was dropped in Star Wars? Harry Dresden. I don't know Harry Dresden off the top of my head. Okay, so let's see here. So the AI does better with characters it understands very well. So the only issue with taking a Knight Pilot or Imperial Titan and putting them in Attack on Titan is that the AI will know nothing about this person. So we'll have to stipulate all of it, which is not necessarily a huge problem. Oh, yes, King Adis, the first Sith Lord. Okay. He was kind of a badass, but it's kind of funny. He's not really the first Sith Lord. He kind of is, but not the way we think. He wasn't of the Sith tradition. He was not of that tradition. He was a super powerful dark side king of the Sith, and he was effectively Lord of the Sith. And you can call him the first Lord of the Sith, but his powers, his abilities, his connections, nothing to do with the actual origin of the Sith and the Sith order we would come to know. No connection whatsoever aside from his species. What if the courier from Fallout was a Primarch? Is that what you're saying? He'd get shot, he'd eat the bullet, he'd kill Benny, he'd deliver the chip. What do you want me to say? Let's see here. The Emperor is the Star Wars galaxy, but he is in the body of Jar Jar Binks. Oh my God. Oh, so we're gonna torture the Emperor? Should we torture the Emperor, guys? Shall we torture the Emperor? That'd be fucking hilarious, just so you're aware. Torturing the Emperor. What if Anakin had a Gundam? He's a new type. I mean, Anakin is the best fighter, the starfighter pilot in the entire galaxy. He'd basically be like the best new type ever. But yeah, he couldn't use the Force, I think. Listen, do you know how powerful the Emperor would be if we put him in Jar Jar's body? I mean, do you realize that Jar Jar is a Sith Lord? Okay, I subscribe to that theory. That is my canon. All right, do you understand that? Like, he would just instantly take over. He'd fight Palpatine and become the new Sith Lord. He'd become the true Darth Tyrannus. Oh, yeah, let's torture the Emperor. That's an heresy. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to roll this dice. All right. Let's see here. What are the ideas we have? All right. So let's go ahead and put the Emperor into Jar Jar's body. At what point in time should we put? At what point in time? Okay. There's a dual question. Which Emperor, as in at what point in the Emperor's timeline are we taking him and putting him in Jar Jar's body? And at which point in time is Jar Jar getting his brain replaced? What if the Powerpuff Girls' dad was a Primarch, but he saw that his fam was doing and just hide? He should help, but who knows? The Battle of Naboo. Okay. So, you mean like when Jar Jar is at the battle, that's when his brain gets replaced by the Emperor? Oh my God. So we're just going to watch Jar Jar Binks suddenly turn into a fucking assassin and start murdering droids left and right and become king of the Gungans. What if a Fabstodes from the Emperor, if the Emperor had were in Star Wars? Well, you got to give me more than that. It's got to be more than just in Star Wars. He's got to be somewhere in Star Wars. It's a big universe. Stargate Commander Jack O'Neill. First movie Jar Jar or Senate Jar Jar? He's just in the middle of his Senate speech, and so just eyes go blank. Then refocus. He just looks around, looks at himself. I don't even know how the Emperor would react to that. All right, let's see here. What if the Lost Primarch was Guts? And Griffith. Ooh, then we know why they are gone. Who do you think would be more interesting to take the Emperor from 40K? Maybe they try and bring back his body, but instead he was transplanted into Jar Jar's body. Okay, let's see. Let's go torture the Emperor. I'll come back to the comments in a minute. Unfortunately, the way this works, I can't look at the comments and do this at the same time. All right, there we go. All right, let's go get the God Emperor. All right, we have here the God Emperor of Mankind, Imperious Warhammer 40k deity. Let's see here. It is the dawn of the Siege of Terra. Let's see. Yes, it is the dawn of the Siege of Terra. You are retiring to your personal inner sanctum after hours of being in a war council with let's just go ahead and there we go. War council with your trusted advisors, Malkidor. I don't want milk. I want Malk. Malkidor. Dorn. Valdor. Etc. Whoever else was there. As you enter, you find. Hold on. What is this guy's name? I know it's very hard to spell. I'm gonna just look it up real quick. Mr. There we go. You find. You guys aren't allowed to judge me for this because we've got to get him in a Jar Jar's body somehow, and you're basically leaving that up to me. The AI will not know what to do with. It will not know what to do with that. As you enter, you find Mr. Mixelplixit, the guy, the Superman villain, cartoon villain. Mixelplixit, waiting in your study chair, leafing absently. Let's see here. Leafing absently through a priceless ancient tome of Terra's lost history. All right. So now we're going to do something else that's fun. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and click this. I'm going to open up another chat. I'm going to look in that chat and say, Mr. Mixelplixit, does he exist in here? No, I did not expect so. All right, so instead, DC. DC Universe Explorer, very nice. I'll start a chat here, and I will say, please act as Mr. Mixelplixit. However the fuck it is you say his name, which has only Y's and no normal vowels. Please act as Mr. Mixelplixit. Mixelplixit. Jesus Christ, spelling his name is fucking difficult. I should have kept that. Okay, Mr. Mixelplixit, and react as he would in the following scenario. Let's see. He has been forbidden from fucking around with Superman for a certain amount of time. So in order to have fun, he has decided to go to the Warhammer 40k universe and find the Emperor of Mankind and use his powers to switch his body with the body of Jar Jar Binks, just as the Battle of Naboo is happening. He awaits the Emperor inside of his personal study, and when the Emperor enters, Mr. Mixelplixit says something to him. What does he say? I am not a big enough Superman fan to imitate this guy very convincingly. So let's let the AI do it. Let's see. I let it, and let's here, share this tab instead. There we go. Oh my God, should I read this? It's giving me a whole fucking thing. Okay. We got... I am only skimming this, and it's all fucking ridiculous. Well, well, well. Look who decided to grace little old me with his divine presence. You might... Oh, God. You might be used to sitting on your golden porta potty, but I've got a twist for you. How do you feel about trading? Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead and just cut this piece right here. This will be what we use. There we go. Very nice. All right. And I wonder if the Emperor will just try to destroy him instantly. Like, let's see. All right. Oh, dude, the Emperor knows who I guess he would. He did. That's so funny. The Emperor knows who Mr. Mxyzptlk is. Did he just correct my spelling of Mr. Mxyzptlk? Does he call him something different? He does. The Emperor has his own spelling for this dude. I looked this up on the fucking DC wiki. You can't tell me I spelled it wrong. All right, fine. Mr. Mxyzptlk, the impudent interdimensional meddler, dares to sully my inner sanctum. I love it. It's from the Emperor's point of view. You guys wanted to torture the Emperor. This is your choice, not mine. It is your heresy, all right? His very presence here is an affront to all I've wrought. The audacity, the sheer mockery in his tone makes my blood simmer beneath the surface of my immortal frame. Ooh, he gets under his skin easy. I regard him coldly, my aura of divine authority descending like a storm upon his insignificant form. You dare to intrude upon my sanctum, worm of the warp. Oh, I love it. He calls him a warp worm. My voice, though calm, reverberates through it reverberates with the power to level stars. Geez, that's a very powerful version of the Emperor. In your ignorance, you toy with things beyond your pitiful understanding. That tome you sully with your unworthy hands contains lost knowledge of mankind's rise. A rise I alone ensured. Ooh, this is a very, very, very prideful Emperor we got here. Very prideful. I step closer. Oh, wait, what is it? I think we got more here. Yep. I step closer, my form towering over him, casting a shadow that seems to grow and choke the very light from the room. Do not mistake this world for your playground, creature. I have cast aside gods and banished beings of far greater consequence than you. Return to whatever childish dimension spawned you, or I shall unmake your very existence and scatter your atoms across the Empyrean. Emperor is spitting fire right now. My patience is non-existent. Should this foolish entity think to test me, I will obliterate him without hesitation. God damn it. All right, listen. Emperor, we all love you, and we all know you're powerful, but Mr. Mxyzptlk is more powerful. He's arguably more powerful than the Chaos God. So, here we go. The Emperor says that to Mr. Mxyzptlk. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and copy what the Emperor said. I'll come back here. I'll say, how does he respond to this? Let's see. Mr. Mxyzptlk's grin only widens as the Emperor's booming voice fills the room, the cosmic force of his words rattling the very fabric of reality. He twirls midair, unperturbed by the suffocating shadow or the Emperor's imposing aura. In fact, the imp revels in it. Ooh, scary! Big bad mighty Emperor of mankind. Ooh, I'm shaking in my dimensionally untethered boots. Mxyzptlk mockingly trembles, eyes wide with exaggerated fear before snapping back to his usual irreverent smirk. He flits across the room, examining the Emperor from different angles as though sizing him up, his voice dripping with amusement. You see, Goldilocks, you might be used to making everyone around here bow and scrape, but I'm not your average your average warp bugaboo. Nope, nope, nope. I'm the fifth dimensional funny guy, kiddo. And trust me, he called the Emperor kiddo. I'm gonna die. And trust me, I'm not interested in your precious lost knowledge or your big old throne of gloom. Jeez, it's really good, Mr. Mixelplitzit. Let's see here. He snaps his finger and suddenly the grand tome, oh Jesus. He snaps his fingers and suddenly the grand tome the Emperor mentioned turns into a balloon animal in the shape of a custodes helmet. I love it. Mixelplitzit floats down and taps it gently. Boop! Look, Biggie, I get it. You're all about the grimdark. No fun allowed shtick. But I'm here to lighten things up, you know? Help you loosen up. What's the harm in a little body swapperoo? Oh, Jesus. All right. We'll go ahead and stop right here. We'll take this, copy that, take it back over to the Emperor. Hello, Emperor. And we will post that and that. And while that generates, I'm going to just go ahead and check in with you guys. Hold on. There we go. There we go. All right. So, let's see here. What if the chosen one from Fallout 2 was the lost Primarch, but was sent a few thousand years before? All right, let me see here. Yes, I did what? Yes, you did. What is this? Yes, you did. You misunderstand. Jar Jar is an upgrade. Senator Jar Jar is an upgrade. Oh, I see. All right. So, let's see how the Emperor reacted to that. the audacity of this insect. Mixelplitzit dares to mock me within the heart of my own sanctum, twisting relics of sacred knowledge into pitiful mockeries. The cosmos rattles beneath my will, and this impudent fool trifles with forces he cannot possibly comprehend. His smirk, his irreverence, how dare he? And it's kind of funny because like the AI has no idea how to actually simulate the Emperor, I don't think. I stand unmoved as he flits about, taunting me with his antics. The balloon animal, a pathetic display. To him, this is a game, but he has no conception of the stakes he has stumbled into. My voice, colder than the void between stars, echoes between the chamber once more. Its tone so absolute that even Mixelplitzit's trivial dimensional tricks seem to falter. You insignificant speck. You have no idea. You insignificant speck have no idea who you mock. You may twist and turn through the fabric of existence as you please on your pathetic dimension, but here in the heart of my Imperium, the weight of eternity bears down on your every breath. The Emperor doesn't speak this much. I stretch out my hand, and though I choose not to obliterate him in this moment, the very air around me crackles with the raw energy of the Astronomicon. Reality itself seems to buckle and scream beneath the force of my restrained power. You claim to be beyond the warp, yet you lack the understanding of true divinity. I have destroyed gods and bound them to my will, to the will of mankind. You are no more than a jester in the court of the real. Oh, that is actually you are no more than a jester in the court of the real. Ooh, that's a good line. God, better than most of the lines he's throwing out. Do not test me for my patience, like your existence is finite. Oh, well, you just complimented him. He's an infinite existence. Infinite is literally, okay, wait, is infinite as a word literally just the negation of finite? Well, okay, cool. I feel like I just had an Aria moment. All right, so I lean forward slightly, my golden armor gleaming as light flickers wildly in the presence of such raw, unbridled might. Now be gone. I have more important matters to attend to than entertaining a cosmic joke. Should he persist, I will unmake him. I like how he keeps threatening me, like the reader, with it. Like, I will do it. I'll fucking do it. All right, let's let Mixelplitzit send the Emperor to Jar Jar's body now. We'll go ahead and do this one more turn. Go over here. And say, let's just go over here and put this in. Sounds like a Star Trek line. The court of the real. Like just something that like Q would say or something, or Picard would say to Q. I don't know. Something sounds fucking badass. All right, well, that generates. Let's see. Smiles widens. I'll just go ahead and read it when I post it in. God, he's going on, right? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, my God. It's taking control of the Emperor and Mixelplitzit's response to make him say really dumb shit. You can't cheat like that, Mixelplitzit. You can't do that. All right, let me see here. There we go. All right, with this, we will turn the Emperor into Jar Jar Binks. Here we go. And then after this, let's see what else we got. All right. Mr. Mixelplitzit's smile only widens as the Emperor's booming voice reverberates through the room, shaking the very fabric of reality in the Warhammer 40k universe. But instead of faltering or showing even the slightest hint of concern, the imp floats higher, spinning upside down like a carefree child in zero gravity. He clasps his hands together, letting out an exaggerated mocking gasp of, "Ooh, someone's cranky! You've been sitting on that shiny chair for so long, you've forgotten how to have a little fun!" As the Emperor's power crackles in the air, bending the very essence of the room, Mixelplitzit lazily twirls his finger, and the pressure around him seems to dissipate as if no more than a passing breeze. His gaze is suddenly filled with whimsical amusement, almost like a... See, if the Emperor was actually dealing with Mixelplitzit, he'd try to manipulate him, but he's so powerful. His gaze is suddenly full of whimsical amusement, almost like a parent watching a child's tantrum. "Do you really think you scare me, Mr. Big and Shiny? I've been playing hopscotch with realities before your galaxy even figured out how to walk upright. You think this," he waves around the room dismissively, "this whole grimdark skull decorator aesthetic impresses me?" Skull decorator. Please, I've seen your whole Emperor shtick a million times before in 100 other universes. Yawn. Mixelplitzit floats inches away from the Emperor's face, casually. We should do this to Palpatine. We should do this. It would probably know how to do Palpatine better, and it would be very funny. Mixelplitzit now floats inches away from the Emperor's face, casually brushing imaginary dust off of his own garish costume. His voice drops to a conspiratorial whisper, his eyes gleaming with mischief. "Here's the deal, Golden Boy. I'm not in your Imperium. I'm just passing through. All this real God talk, yawn-worthy. I get it. You've got your whole tortured existence that you're... Oh, let's see here. You've got your whole tortured existence thing going on. Boo-hoo. A bunch of nerds think you're the... A bunch of nerds think you... Yo, is he roasting us now? Dude. What the fuck? A bunch of nerds think you're the pinnacle of power. I'm sure you have like 1,000 podcasts dedicated to your heroic struggles. But you know what? I'm just here for the laughs. And let me tell you, this whole Jar Jar Binks thing I've got planned for you, knee-slapping comedy." He snaps his fingers, and for a brief moment, the Emperor's vision shifts. Geez, it does it fast. Suddenly, he's on Naboo, in Jar Jar Binks' awkward, clumsy body, flailing about in the middle of a battle. He can feel the strange, squishy awkwardness of the Gungan form. And done. All right. Now we're going to see what happens. Oh, God. Is he just going to blow Jar Jar's body apart with his soul? I don't know. "This affront, this worm, dares to twist the very fabric of reality around me as if it were a toy. He flaunts his power, trivial in comparison to the forces I command." It's so funny watching the AI try to understand what the Emperor is and trying to put him in this, because the Emperor is not supposed to ever be put on the back foot, and it doesn't understand the Emperor being on a back foot. "Transforming me into some grotesque parody, a Gungan of all things, Jar Jar Binks. The mere thought makes my righteous fury surge like the very heart of a supernova. For a moment, I am cast into this ridiculous form, feeling the awkward movements of a being so far beneath me that even thinking about it disgusts me. Ooh! Roasting Jar Jar right now. But the power within me cannot be so easily diminished by mere dimensional tomfoolery. This imp may have the gall to toy with my form, but my will remains absolute. Within the span of a heartbeat, I forcefully reclaim reality around me, tearing apart the ridiculous illusion. Yeah, he's just not playing with us, guys. He's just not. This is an illusion. He's not playing with us. Let me see here. What does he do? The illusion of Naboo and its clownish creatures dissolve around the sheer might of my psychic mastery. I snap back into my true magnificent form, the radiant glory of my armor reasserting itself. Reality bends to me, not the other way around. Enough of your foolish games. The tone of my voice could shatter planets. So intense, so raw, the authority in it. My eyes blaze with an inner fire as I draw upon the full force of the Astronomicon, the beacon that guides the souls of humanity across the void. The light that I summon in this very moment is not meant to illuminate, it is meant to erase. Even his fifth dimensional nature will be crushed under the weight of my absolute dominance. Oh, geez. Let's see here. Absolute dominance over this reality. You think yourself amusing, a master of whimsy, but let me educate you, insect. The warp itself has conspired to destroy me. The gods of chaos have raged against my will for millennia, and yet I stand. Your little tricks are no more than the buzzing of a fly. I am the god emperor of mankind, and I do not laugh. I annihilate. I raise my hand, fingers crackling with the energy not of the warp, but of something far more profound, something that transcends even his warped reality. Oh, damn. The Emperor is he's just pulling out, nah, mine's bigger. And the AI is literally just making new things up. Let's see here. If Mithelplitzit thinks himself beyond the powers of the Immaterium, let him try to withstand the force of true dominion over existence itself. Bro, you're not actually God. Depart now. Oh, he's giving you another chance. Oh, look, he's not dead yet. Oh, man, the Emperor just won't do it. He won't pull the trigger. He just keeps threatening to, but he won't do it. All right, so this is a great example of a prompt that does not seem to be working. And unless we sit here and jiggle with it for a long time, the AI will just sit here and fight with itself and not let it go through. But in any case, we'll go ahead and stop the Jar Jar Binks adventures there for the time being. Let me see here. It is so cheesy. I know. Bro, Mixelplexit is roasting us. Like, seriously. Maybe I should just let the Emperor destroy him. Like, do it. Fucking do it. Fuck. It'd be funny the other way around. If Jar Jar was brought into the Emperor's body, putting Jar Jar and the Emperor. Look, we're going to go ahead and put the Jar Jar Emperor torture aside this time. We will have another stream and we'll go ahead and revisit the idea of fucking the Emperor up that badly. But for the time being, let's go ahead and set that to the left and try something else. So let's hear. Emperor talks to the Doctor. You mean the Doctor from Doctor Who, right? Minecraft Steve and Warhammer 40K. No Minecraft Steve. We already have the Minecraft movie coming out. Deal with that. All right? It's too early for me to start drinking. Let's see here. This shit is so funny. Putting the Emperor in, putting Jar Jar in the Emperor's body. He'd just start killing people. Whoopsie! Misa! Oh my God. Transformers in 40K. That could be very interesting. What if the Emperor ate a senzu bean? I don't know, man. Deku in Warhammer 40. Oh, why do you want to torture Deku for now? What do you... How many Daleks would it take to defeat the Imperium? Let me ask it. Hold on. All right, so let's go ahead and get ourselves something fresh here. Let's see here. Explore GPTs. Let's explore some GPTs and see. What was the the thing, the idea again. Let me see. Deku. Hey, Vigilante. Hey, Vigilante here. I face everybody in 1v1 combat, even my own class. I kick ass. So somebody made a Vigilante Deku. All right, let's see here if that's a thing that we can use. I kick ass and take names. Let's try this. Just something nice and simple. You see a villain with reality warping portal powers stealing from a innocent children. Oh, I see. Children's Cancer Fund. And laughing maniacally as he does. All right, let's see here. My blood boils the second I catch sight of him, the twisted villain standing over a pile of stolen donations meant to save lives, laughing like it's all a game. His ability to manipulate portals gives him a strategic advantage, but I faced worse. I can't let this stand. These kids, their families, they need that money for hope. Something no one has the right to take away. Hilarious. I love how fucking... Oh, wow. There's a lot. He's still going? Jesus Christ. He's just beating him up. I didn't... You violated your own content policies. Do you guys see this? Vigilante Deku just beat... I haven't even fucking read this yet. Vigilante Deku has at least beaten this guy so badly that they just... The ChatGPT 4 just violated its own content policy. Bro, I didn't tell you to do anything. I just said you see this guy. Oh my God. Okay, this is funny. I feel like I'm going to watch Deku just now beat the ever-loving fuck shit out of this guy. Let's read this quickly here. Actually, I think I can get the AI to read it. Nope, I can't get it to read it. It thinks that it's going to read something bad. Let's see. I leave from the shadows, keeping my presence hidden for now. His erratic laughter fills the alley as he casually flips open a portal, pulling more. You know what? Hold on one second. I'm sorry, guys. It is a lot to read, and we've been reading a lot, and we're also on here for a while. So let's try to shorten this up. Keep responses to 4 paragraphs. There. Let's try that. After all, you're not supposed to actually beat him up, Deku. You're supposed to just react to this initially, and then I take control, and we keep going. I see him before I even step into the light, this so-called villain that was, with his twisted grin, standing at the edge of a swirling portal. His laughter echoes through the darkened streets, the money meant for sick children slipping through his fingers and vanishing into his warped gateways. He's mocking them, mocking the innocence of those who can't fight back. The rage I feel isn't just anger. It's cold, calculated fury. I can feel One for All humming beneath my skin, waiting for release. By the way, I never watched My Hero Academia, like, up to this point. Like, I never saw Vigilante Deku. So this is hilarious and interesting to me. What the fuck happened to him? Okay, let's see here. I launched forward. This is actually probably the best Deku to go to Warhammer 40k, or the worst. One or the other. I launched forward without hesitation, tapping into full cowling at 30%. The crackle of energy surges around me, my speed amplified as I close the distance in a second. He doesn't see me coming, his attention still consumed by his greed. My fist connects with his jaw, sending him sprawling backwards, but I don't stop there. Before he can recover, I slam my foot into the ground, channeling a shockwave through the earth that shatters the pavement, knocking him off balance as his portal flickers and destabilizes. Okay. He opens another portal in desperation, attempting to escape, but I'm already moving again. My mind races as I analyze his quirk. He manipulates space, creates exits wherever he pleases. If I let him keep moving, he'll slip away and continue exploiting the defenseless. I can't allow that. With pinpoint precision, I hit him again, aiming for his dominant arm, disabling it before he can react. The portal behind him collapses entirely as he screams in pain. Wait. Aiming for his dominant arm, disabling it. Portal behind me. Okay, so he didn't like snap his arm in half. Okay. Screaming in pain, clutching his arm, but I feel no sympathy. Not for someone like him. Fucking Deku got hard. I don't know what the fuck happened. I step closer. The electric hum of One for All crackling around me. My voice is low, cold. You don't get to hurt innocent people. Not anymore. He tries to scramble away, but I grab him by the collar, lifting him off the ground. His power may let him warp reality, but my resolve is unshakable. This is over. For the children he stole from, for every life he shattered. Jesus, so dramatic. I'll make sure he faces justice. And if it takes breaking every bone in his body, I will. Whoa! Jeez, what happened in My Hero Academia? Deku is such a nice guy. Dude, chill. Holy crap. Well, okay. We're sending this Deku to Warhammer 40K, I think. Let's see here. Deku's anti-hero arc, lol. Hi, fan. Glad to see you're enjoying AI. It's cool to see you having a laugh at something like this. Yeah, no, it is fun. It is very fun. AI went full vigilante. Yeah, it did. Or what if Dracula had to deal with Frankenstein's monster as a roommate? What if Dracula had to deal with... That could be funny by itself, yes. They would destroy the Imperium with one Dalek, for they are better at dying. Oh my God, you're making fun when the Daleks and the Cybermen were roasting each other. I should have the Daleks invade Warhammer 40K and then find the Necrons and then have the Necrons and the Daleks roast each other. You are better at dying. Incorrect. We are deathless. Then you never lived. You have no lives. Correct. All right, let's see here. Yeah, Deku might be Conrad. Holy shit, right? All right, so this guy who makes portals, he violated your own content policies, bro. This guy who makes portals is going to now make a portal, and he's going to take Goku. He's going to take Deku to Warhammer 40K. So, real quick, guys, where should I send him? Where does he get sent? Let's send him to a planet belonging to one of the Primarchs prior to the Emperor arriving there, but after the Primarch has already kind of grown up. Which planet do you want Deku to end up in for whatever Primarch to, interact with him? And then what happens when they encounter the Imperium and the rest of it? And if one of you says Conrad Curze, I swear to God, you have to realize Deku will just get killed by him. I could read about that, actually. But Deku will... Well, One for All is pretty powerful. What do you guys think? Where should we send him? Angron. Interesting. One for All is pretty powerful. I think that if All Might punched a Primarch, that Primarch would feel it, more than feel it. Like, they might die from it. It depends on which one, but I can see All Might stoving in Lorgar's head, or at least really fucking him up with only one punch. Because you have to remember, like, the feats on this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the what do you call him? By the way, when I did Warhammer 40K versions for the entire heroes, Green Lantern was a Necron. He was like a very eccentric Necron. Like he was a Necron who retained like some portion of his soul even in his robot body because his will was just so fucking great, which is great. And now he just flies around fucking with people and hanging out with Trazyn. And he's like basically the entire Necron core. But yeah, All Might is extremely powerful. I don't think All Might can even put a dent in Saitama, and I think that Saitama could put 10 dents in him with one punch. But I think that if you send All Might into a place, he's going to be able, in 40K, he's going to be able to flip Titans over, or at least like knock them over. And yeah, I mean, we have seen Primarchs get stepped on by Titans, but it's not an easy thing for them. And if it's like every single punch is equivalent to a Titan's footstep, it's not going to take too many for him to start really bloodying them and fucking them up. So if Deku inherits that kind of power, then he might actually be physically stronger than whatever Primarch's planet he ends up on. There are 3 fanfics some people wonder. How long would the Warhammer universe survive against the Flood, the True Covenant, and would the UNSC create alliances with the Imperium of Man? The Flood, I don't like the Flood because the Flood are way too weak strong. Like, they're strong when they need to be, they're weak when they need to be. It's just, they flip-flop so hard, and I get it. It's about how far they've developed. But like when I watched a video on, I think it's like Eckhart's Ladder, that was about these different swarm forces fighting each other. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't think that the Flood beat the Tyranids. I don't. I think that if you're starting them off on equal footing with the same amount of biomass, the Tyranids are able to spread way faster, way more. I mean, for the Flood to use biomass effectively to like make Flood forms, it needs a central nervous system. We know that already as a fact. There are several books that clearly state this. You can't just take any corpse. You need a corpse with a functioning head, brain, spinal column sort of thing going on. Tyranids can just, one, eat anything, use any biomass. It doesn't have to have anything. They can just use it, whatever it is. So all the Flood are on the menu. And 2, and this is a big one, the Tyranids will very quickly just evolve Tyranid fighting forms, like bioforms, that do not have central nervous systems. In fact, there are already a fair amount of them, like the Rippers, that don't have central nervous systems. So you end up with a matchup where the Tyranids can keep taking biomass from the Flood, but the Flood can't take any back from the Tyranids. And that's just that's not a winning setup. And they can hijack AI. If we're just dealing with Tyranids here, then there are no AIs to hijack. The Tyranids aren't susceptible, like in large part, they're not susceptible to the Flood because they're able to control and manipulate themselves too much. Now, there have to be some Tyranid bioforms which retain these complex neural systems to, maintain the synapse. But those would be the only things that are susceptible to the Flood. And again, the Tyranids can actively adapt. The Flood don't seem to be able to do that. They have like a thing that they do, but we don't see flood forms changing form like super differently. They combine and become bigger and bigger in this sort of progression. But literally, Tyranids can reinvent the Hormigaunt like that. It's not a problem for them. This is a super simple thing they do all the time. And yeah, Tyranids can eat metal as well. They don't always do it. The canon is inconsistent with that. There are times when it's like, oh yeah, all that was left was their implants because the Tyranids didn't eat the implants, but the Tyranids do. There are more stories of the Tyranids being able to eat metal than there are of them not. But yeah, my point is that I don't think that the Flood can take over the Warhammer 40K universe in so many dimensions. And in fact, I don't even think that Flood can take most of the single factions. The Flood might be able to defeat the Imperium because the Flood just needs to get big enough. The Flood might be able to defeat the Orcs because it just needs to get big enough. But when you start getting to the point where it's like, okay, the whole Flood faction versus the Eldari. I mean, the Eldari have fucking weapons they don't use that they wait for things like this for. And yeah, I know the Flood defeated the Forerunners and the Forerunners were super powerful and like by power scaling but it's hard for me to believe. And when I actually look at the history, it's like they didn't just defeat the Forerunners. The Forerunners fucked around a lot and had like civil war and stupid bullshit going on. They were constantly stepping on their own dicks. And that's when the Flood finally got big enough to knock them over. But it wasn't because they had like actually been pound for pound defeated by the Flood. They didn't take the Flood seriously. So I don't think that the Flood can beat the Warhammer 40K universe. I think that a good amount of the factions are able to beat them. I think that if you're a faction who isn't a mass population faction, you can basically beat them. The Flood have no chance against the Necrons whatsoever. They have no way to corrupt them, nothing to take from them. The Necrons will atomize them every time they blast them, and little by little, the biomass of the Flood will simply deplete. The Eldar can hide forever. They can become totally invisible. They can hide in the webway, and they can bomb you from the webway. If the Flood have a central, nervous control system, like their grave minds or mega minds or whatever it is they become when they get enough, the Eldar are able to surgically strike that and blow that up, and it would be very difficult to prevent it. And even if you could, they probably still manage it just with casualties. The Dark Eldar have even more terrifying weapons at their disposal and a massive inner dimension of their own, which is by itself kind of like hell. And yeah, they control that, and there's lots of shit they can do with it. Honestly, I can see the Dark Eldar are losing to the Flood, but for the same reason that the fucking Forerunners fell to them. They are not going to take them seriously. That's it. What other factions we got? Like the Tyranids, like I already said, I think they take out the Flood. And Chaos. All Chaos destroys the Flood. I mean, Chaos corruption, you know what I'm saying? It's not a thing that can be very easily undone, and I don't see any reason why the Flood would be very resilient to it. Yeah, man, I think the Flood get overblown a lot. It is understood they were at one time super powerful because they overran the whole like empire and were able to hijack so many AIs and were able to grow their biomass to such a massive level. But putting that aside, like taking that for itself and putting that aside, I just am almost never impressed with the Flood. And the reason is because I'm going to be frank with you guys, the UNSC defeated the Flood. The UNSC aren't the Forerunners. I mean, say what you want, okay? People are like, oh, the Forerunners are so strong, power scaling, power scaling. The UNSC defeated the Flood. And the UNSC are, I mean, how far below would you guys say the UNSC is from the Forerunners? You know what I'm saying? How far below is the UNSC from the Forerunners? In any case, I'm sorry. I got this huge tangent off, and it's just a thing that builds up in my brain because I get this all the time from comments. The Flood are overblown in my mind. If the UNSC could act, yeah, the UNSC had Master Cheeks, but again, it's like, okay, how deadly is the Covenant compared to like a Warhammer 40k faction? The Covenant is like a single minor faction. You know what I'm saying? They're like the Tau, like maybe a little bit better. I don't know, because they seem to have way more aliens and they're a bit cooler, but I'm going to be honest again. If I power scale them, the UNSC are using bullet guns that are really normal. And like, yeah, later on we get some crazy UNSC weapons and the UNSC Infinity, the bestest ship ever to be ever created forever for anything. But we still have the first games and stuff. And it's pretty clear that like standard ballistic weapons are really effective against Covenant forces. And, in 40K, we just have forces that are not like that. Like, when you're fighting a horde of orcs, it's hard to kill them as easily as you kill the Covenant. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of what I'm saying. And so I think that I thought that retconned it so that the Forerunners were actually humans. Okay, so I'm going to get off on this after this, okay? I'm going to get off this topic. But in the original canon, the Forerunners were humans. In the original canon, that's what it was. And it was way more interesting. It was a true plot twist. It was great. 343 retconned it so that the Forerunners are not humans, they're their own alien species, and we are the Reclaimers. We're the species that the Forerunners chose to one day come back and take all their stuff, and like the Covenant belongs to us, basically. It's really dumb. I don't really see why we would be considered the Reclaimers compared to the other species, and even in their own lore, it's like we were not very cool with them. Like there were lots of human wars with these people, but whatever. I think that I used to be super into Halo lore, but once 343 got a hold of it, it started turning into just so much mush and garbage just all over the place, and it was so narratively unfulfilling so much of the time that now it's like a super dead thing in my eyes. Like I really cannot deal with Halo until 343 doesn't own it anymore, and I would really like it if they could just reset the fucking timeline back to just after, like they can keep Reach, like, but like let us please no more of the 343 games. They are just so bad, and I don't get where the fuck these people get such bad writers. I really don't. It's really nuts. It fucking blows my mind. All right, so with that done, let's send Deku to the Warhammer 40k universe. Let's see here. The guy tries to fight back. In the process, he opens a destabilized portal, and Deku gets sucked into it. Deku is sent hurtling through time and space to an entirely different dimension. The Warhammer 40K dimension. All right, where did we decide that we were going to send him? Let's just go ahead and send him. He arrives within the Emperor's proto palace during his conquest of Terra. Deku arrives in a somewhat ornate throne room within the post-apocalypse. Let's see here. Post-apocalypse of Terra before the reunification war. Present in the room is the man who will become the God Emperor of mankind, Malkador. There we go. Malkador and some Thunder Warrior guards. Let's see here. And actually, I'll go ahead and get this over here. This will probably help us in a second. Okay. Let's see how Deku reacts to that. As I tumble through the chaotic, twisting vortex, time and space bend around me in ways I've never experienced before. The portal tears at my senses, pulling me through dimensions, twisting my very existence. I try to reach out, to grab onto something, anything, but there's only the endless void and the sense of falling deeper and deeper. When I finally land, it's not the sharp crack of concrete under my feet, but the dull thud of a grand ancient hall. I stagger to my feet, adrenaline still surging through my veins, all for one, still crackling faintly around me. The air is heavy with a dust and scent of decay, but yet there is a strange oppressive energy that hangs over the room. I glance around and find myself in what appears to be, hold on, I lost my place just now. I glance around and find myself in what looks like a throne room, though nothing like I've seen before. Ornate yet brutal, the architecture is massive, imposing, as though the very stonework itself is designed to instill fear. But it's the people who immediately draw my attention. A man sits upon the throne, tall, intimidating beyond words, his presence more commanding than any villain or hero I've ever encountered. He radiates power, not the kind of quirk-based strength I'm used to, but something far deeper, far older. Beside him, another figure stands, cloaked, ancient, yet sharp-eyed, like he's like he's seen the rise and fall of entire worlds. Surrounding them are warriors clad in brutal armor, primitive but lethal, towering over me with the same cold, calculated gaze. I can't waste time. Wherever I am, this isn't my world. I brace myself, every muscle tense, ready for a fight if it comes to that. But I can't help but stare at the man on the throne. There's something terrifying about him, as though his very existence bends reality, not unlike the villains I just fought. His eyes, burning with purpose, lock onto mine. My heart pounds in my chest as I steel myself. Whoever this man is, I need answers, and I need to figure out a way back to my own dimension before it's too late. So wait, he didn't say anything. Oh my God. Okay, he didn't say anything. All right. Let's go over here. Let's say, let me see here. Yes, all right. We'll go ahead and go over to this and fix it up this way. I am writing a My Hero Academia and Fiction. There we go. I would like to give you a piece of what is written and have you rewrite it to be better and smoother. Something with the style and panache of George R. R. Martin. Let's try that. Please be detailed with the physical locations and descriptions, as well as descriptions when it comes to expressions. Let's see here. Okay. And now I'm just going to go ahead and take this stuff and copy and paste it over here into this one, which I don't think I've shown you guys yet. I will show you in a second. There we go. Alrighty. There we go. And let's see what it does. Okay. Okay, yes, it's going to go ahead and rewrite the whole thing. Very good. All right. And then we'll push it to continue. But it should be writing this in a more prosy, better, less cobbled together sort of way. So while that goes ahead and pumps itself out, let's go ahead and just check with you guys. Could Spider-Man defeat a Space Marine? Yes, he could. Not any Space Marine, but he could defeat a Space Marine. Yes, he's shown to be strong enough. And I cannot tell you how much that what do you call it? Spider sense would help. Like a lot. A big lot. A lot big. A big lot big. All right, so let's see here. What if the Avengers was in Warhammer 40k? I might do that one next time. That was his former wife of the Emperor or Chaos. Let's see here. Ball. Oh, yes. I decided to put him there. All right, so let's go ahead and see what. By the way, can you guys read what's on the screen? Like, can you read it? Because I know that last time when I tried to do something like this, you guys couldn't actually read what I was typing. Like, can you guys read this? Give me an affirmative if you can or not. I guess maybe. All right, let's see here. What if the lost Primarchs were Mario and Luigi? The short kings of the Imperium. That's rather Mario's Space Marine chapter of the short kings. And he betrayed the Imperium when the Emperor made a joke and said strawberry short kings because they wear red. So, okay, you guys can all read. Very good. Affirmative. Excellent. Okay. Let's take a look here. I see him before I even step into the light. A shadowy figure, more than just a villain, but a twisted reflection of what's wrong with this world. His face is a grotesque mask of glee, stretched wide in a manic grin as he pulls fistfuls of money from the children's fund. Behind him, the air ripples, distorting like a mirage in the desert heat. His portals, realities sliced open like a butcher's cleaver through flesh. Jesus Christ, Deku, chill out. What do you think like this? Is this how you describe things to yourself in your mind? Swirl lazily, beckoning the ill-gotten gains into oblivion. Geez, so artistic. All right, this is why it was a mistake for George R. R. Martin. It is too artsy-fartsy right now. Too. You see what I'm saying? Let's see here. The sound of his laughter is piercing, sickly sweet, cutting through the night like shards of broken glass. It's going too hard. The going too hard works well once you're in Warhammer 40k, but right now, bro, you're like in a convenience store or something. Each stolen bill feels like another stab at the helpless, at these kids, at those man. Maybe it's not. Geez, Deku, chill out. They are not. He is not stabbing children. All right, reel it in. At these kids, and something within me ignites. It's not the hot burst of anger, but a cold, steady burn, a fury that simmers beneath my skin. One for all, stirring, ready for release. I don't wait for him to notice me. There's no need for words. At 30% full cowling, I'm on him before his twisted grin can fade. My fist meets his jaw with a satisfying crack, sending him sprawling. His laugh dies on his lips, replaced by a startled yelp as he crashes into the pavement. The portal behind him flickers, destabilizing as cracks spider web through the asphalt beneath my feet. But I don't stop. My movements are a blur, calculated and relentless. Before he can recover, I drive my foot into the ground, the earth itself responding with a violent tremor. His balance is shattered, just like the street, and I see panic flash in his eyes. Dude, this Deku is... I might have to watch My Hero Academia again, all right? I might have to watch it again, guys, because this Deku is hardcore. Desperation claws at him as he scrambles to open another portal. His fingers twitch, and the air warps. But I'm faster. I focus all of my strength. My fist appears a precise weapon, driving into his dominant arm with enough force to leave it useless. The portal flickers once more, a jagged tear in space, and then collapses entirely. His scream cuts through the night, his face contorted in agony. There's no pity in me. Not for him, not for someone who takes from the most vulnerable. His eyes are wide with fear. His eyes are wide with fear now, no longer the gloating villain, just a man beaten and broken. And you did that. You did that, Deku. You did that, okay? Just so you're aware. You don't get to do this. Not to them. My voice is low, a quiet promise of retribution as I grab his collar and lift him effortlessly. I want him to know. Excuse me. Not to them. I'm seeing a retribution. I grab his collar and lift him effortlessly. I want him to know he won't escape justice. Not this time, not ever. But then the air shifts in a sickening twist of reality. The portal, destabilized and torn by his last desperate attempt, pulls at the very fabric of space. Before I can react, it swallows me whole. The world twists and folds in on itself, and I am no longer falling through the air, but through time and space itself. The sensation is sickening, disorienting, my body tumbling through a kaleidoscope of light and shadow. My senses scream in protest, and for a moment, everything is nothing. Until it isn't. I land, not with the familiar crunch of concrete, but onto old, unyielding stone. Groaning, I push myself to my feet, my surroundings coming into sharp focus. I'm in a massive hall, ornate and ancient. The air thick with the scent of decay and power. My gaze sweeps the room, and I see them, figures carved from myth and legend, standing like statues around a man seated on a throne. He isn't just a man, though. He is something more. His presence radiates with an intensity that makes the air vibrate, my eyes burning with power. His eyes burning with a power far beyond anything I've ever encountered. This is no mere throne room. This is something far more dangerous. Beside him, an ancient figure, hooded and watching, and warriors around them, clad in brutal armor, seem ready to strike at a moment's notice. But it's the man on the throne who holds my attention. His gaze pins me in place, the weight of it enough to crush worlds. For a brief moment, I wonder if I've been drawn into something that I can't escape. Okay, nice. And we'll say depict what happens next. Let's just see what the AI will do with that. The man on the throne doesn't move, but I feel his presence shift, as if the very air in the room bends to his will. His eyes, golden and fierce, bore into mine with an intensity that's almost painful. The room is silent, oppressive. Every breath feels like an effort, and the weight of the stares from the surrounding warriors press down on me like a lead blanket. Yet none of them make a sound or motion. It's as if they're waiting for something. It's as if they're waiting for something far greater than any mere mortal can comprehend. The man finally speaks, his voice like the rumble of distant thunder, low and commanding, reverberating off the stone walls. You are not of this world. It's not a question. His words strike with the force of an absolute certainty, like a hammer coming down on an anvil, and I find myself gripping my fists tighter. My instincts scream to be ready for anything, but there's something in his voice that freezes me in place. He knows. He sees me for what I am, an outsider, a lost fragment of another reality. I don't know how I got here, I managed to say, my voice more strained than I intended. I was fighting a villain, and silence. His command cuts through my words like a blade. His eyes narrow, scrutinizing every inch of me, as if he could peer straight into my soul. Around him, the figures remain statuesque, unmoving, unbreathing. But their presence feels like that of silent sentinels, ready to spring into action with lethal precision. I can sense their power, something primal and ancient, more brutal than any hero or villain I've faced before. These aren't just warriors. These are something more, something forged in a world far crueler than my own. A slow, deliberate movement draws my attention away from the throne. The hooded figure beside him steps forward, his face still shadowed beneath the cloak, but his presence is no less intimidating. His voice, when it comes, is quieter than the man on the throne, yet filled with an eerie weight. You've crossed into a place beyond your understanding, boy. He regarded me, not with curiosity, but as though I was an anomaly to be studied, a flaw in the fabric of reality. We have no time for stray souls in this war. My heart pounded, every instinct screaming at me to run, to fight. But where would I go? I am surrounded, and I don't even know how far from home I truly am. The man on the throne leans forward ever so slightly, his gaze never wavering. His voice drops lower, almost a growl. The warp brought you here. It is not mercy or fate. Tell me, boy, what are you? And that's where I think we're going to leave off for today. We're going to go ahead and see, and if you guys want, we'll come back to this. I'll have some more streams, some more of these game streams. The question I have is this: would you guys like me to actually do the writing and the plotting here now with this as it is this way? Or would you guys like me to just take times to show you the cooler ones that I've managed to coalesce, like Cal Primaris? Up to you. In any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed this and seen this messing around with the AI and understand what it does. If you like it, mess with it yourself. Make some cool stuff. Who knows? Liberate thy mind from thine constraints. But whatever the case may be, I look forward to seeing you guys next time, but it will be next time. I'll see you guys later.